Welcome back to the Gun Show, my friends. I got some of my favorite people on set with me today. I got Arthur Field, I got Eddie Saunders, and guess what? I got a young man by the name of Scott. You want to know more about Scott? So do I. You want to know more about Datanomix? So do I. Although I know a lot already, but the other guys might not, so we're all going to learn today. But this story is about IMTS, and we will be visiting Datanomix on their booth Wednesday from 3 to 5. The MTDCNC team will be there. We hope to see you there as well. But by all means, go every day of the week. Machine monitoring is so very important, but where can you go? How about booth number 135636? Scott, how are we today, buddy? Welcome back to the Gun Show, my friends. This is the VIP edition.
Doing great, Tony. Great to be here.
First ever podcast, or are you a pro?
This is my first, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Well, we got pro podcasters on here right now, so you're in good hands for sure. All right, we're talking all things IMTS. You and I, you definitely more than I, but I more than most, I would say, know Datanomix very well. I've spent a lot of time with your customers, learning about their successes. I understand the importance of knowing what's going on inside of our machines. In fact, we have one guy, sorry to the machine tool folks out there for what I'm about to say, but one guy was about to buy a new machine, then started understanding how his machine was running, optimized that said machine, and didn't need to buy a second machine because he optimized it to get it from, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% uptime to 60, 70, 80% uptime. Changed the game. But the stories of success that go through Datanomix are fascinating to me because Greg, the guy that started this whole thing, wasn't in manufacturing when he first started. He just saw a need for the technology needing to be implemented based on skill shortage, based on automation being needed, based on understanding better, based on needing to quote better when jobs are coming in so we don't lose money on every job we're doing. But I'm going to stop because you're better at this than me, Scott. What are we excited about for IMTS?
Tony, we're excited because we're rolling out a new concept called data-powered production. What that means is it's the ability to use the data, use the analytics to actually be able to run properly the shop floor, right? There's a lot of information, there's a lot of things that are out there and a lot of data streams, right? It's the ability to bring all those in and then make sense of them so that you can make informed decisions, right? There's a big void, there's a black hole out there when you think about ERP data and what's coming out there, right? It knows what happened yesterday, it knows what happened the day before, but it doesn't know real time. And the other challenge is, and this is part of what Datanomix does, is it's our whole no operator input philosophy is we automate the data collection, right? Most of that downtime that people are trying to figure out, it's actually in the programs. It's actually what's happening. It's because the engineer said that machine needs to stop because a human needs to go do something. That's 80 to 90% of the downtime, and we figured out how to automate collecting that downtime, right? So that's the first step that we're doing.
I like that first step, and I'm going to cue you guys in on a couple of things that I've learned throughout the years to help you ask questions as well today because you guys are both pros. In the world of machine monitoring, something Greg and I fought for a long time, and Scott, you're probably along this journey with Greg, is that machine monitoring, a lot of times, people felt like they either got scammed or they weren't getting what they were promised or it was overly complicated. So there was two main teams, let's say, for people who started adapting machine monitoring. And one is I bought into machine monitoring, and it was so simplified that I can also look out on my machine shop floor and see when a light is green and see when a light is red. I can do that on my own. I don't need machine monitoring to do that. The second was so far in the other direction where I had to hire 3 or 4 people in order to pull all of that data for me to even understand what was happening on my floor. Datanomix, where they came and kind of shined a light, and there's so many other things. There's the morning coffee thing, the espresso speedy route. There's all sorts of things that you guys are creating right now. But on the first thing that was something we needed to overcome together was just understanding that they are going to pull out information for you, provide you that information, allow you to understand that information in a way that makes sense very quickly so you don't need 20 or 30 meetings throughout the day or walking to each department and wasting all that time. You get your morning coffee report ready to go instead of too basic or too complicated with your existing team. So I just wanted to add that in there so for questions that might come up later. Scott, let's continue with what else we're going to see at IMTS because there is so much that you guys are adapting to these days.
At EBITDA Growth Systems, we guarantee to double your value in 3 years. Well, instead of telling you about a guarantee, how about if I tell you a story? We had a shop owner come to us at an event saying, I'm not sure if you can help us. He said, we have our credit lines maxed out in our business. I have a second mortgage on my home, it's maxed out. I'm not sure what to do. I have a payroll coming up next week and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Can you help us? We said we weren't sure, so we came in and we came alongside of him. In 18 months, he went from not having any money to having over $800,000 in the bank and having a 6 times exit what his value was at that day. And now he's living a life that he always dreamed of with his family. And it's fantastic, and that's what's really rewarding for us, and that's what EBITDA Growth Systems is all about. If you want to know more about EBITDA Growth Systems, go to www.ebitagrowthsystems.com, EBITDA growthsystems.com, and go to our contact page where I will reach out to you personally.
Yeah, we're continuing on that theme of data-powered production. It's what else can you do with the data besides just knowing when my machines are on, when they're not, right? So think about things like scheduling. Think about things like tool life, right? And knowing how long that tool's been used and knowing when I should change that tool. That is a huge cost savings, especially for your OEM market, right? Where they're running the same parts over and over. It's actually, we have companies and customers that spend millions of dollars on tooling each year. This is going to help them change that, right? It's a huge savings. And you look at the job shops, right? You look at production shops, it's the same thing. It's the amount of time that goes into, like you said, Tony, analyzing that data, right? We're going to do that for you. We're going to put that up on monitors on the shop floor so everybody can see what's going on, right? The thing we're trying to do in manufacturing is make this a team sport, right? Everybody can help out. Everybody can get involved. It shouldn't be one machinist, one operator out there on an island, out there on their own, right, running that machine. By putting the data in front of everybody, everybody knows exactly what's going on. Everybody can see in real time if a machine is down, why. Somebody can go over there and help them, right? Don't feel like you're isolated. Make this a team sport.
Very well said, guys. I'm going to leave it open for you. I could continue easily. I've talked to enough of their customers, successful customers of this. PASMAC is one of them, actually, in your local area, but I'll leave it open to you guys because sometimes I know it so well at this point. I'll speak about things and the audience is, well, rewind a little bit. I didn't get to that point yet, so it's good that you guys are here.
Yeah. So I love, because when we're talking about, too much data, too little data, and they don't even look at this, but it's looking at the need for this data, right? We're all here and we're all passionate about bringing more work to North America, reshoring, nearshoring, all of that. And this data really makes it possible to dial it in. Like traditionally, when I was on the shop floor, I had work order reviews. I didn't get this data till the end of my production. And then I'm problem solving, then I'm figuring it out. But now what Datanomix is making possible, if I'm understanding it right, I saw a little bit in Shop Rescue Season 1, which really showcases what you guys can do a little bit in depth.
A nice name drop. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but it's such a great, if you haven't watched it, come on, go watch it. Anyway, but what's possible with all of that is just all of the cost savings when you're talking about people that are saving money on their tooling and everything else. I helped one shop at one point, and it took us forever to identify it because they weren't using Datanomix, but they realized they just weren't changing their insert screws soon enough. So they were changing out the entire tool holder.
Oh, geez.
It was a nice little C4 quick change head. Thankfully, it wasn't a whole giant bar, but they were changing the entire tool once a month, a $1,200 tool body, because they didn't realize all they had to do was change a screw. And I think if they would have been using Datanomix at the time, they would have identified that point of failure much sooner than they did. It took us 6 months to identify. They changed the screw every 10 inserts, boom, no issues. Now that tool holder lasts them 6 months.
Yeah, we hear those stories all the time, and it's amazing. It's different things. I was talking to a customer a couple of weeks ago who had a similar example where they had one tool that was running, right? And they're like, okay, why is the part being produced at such a slow rate? The machine is running, the machine's doing its part. What it came down to is the actual operator was had to stop and do a measurement, but he was taking the part out of the machine, doing the measurement, putting it back. He didn't realize, so he wasn't properly trained that, hey, you don't have to do that. You can actually leave it in there. So it took that touch time, right? That operator touch time in that total cycle time down by 5 minutes, right? Now multiply that by making that part 100 times. Think about the time savings that you get, and what can you do with that now? Now you can make more, right? You can make more profit, make more parts, make more revenue, more savings, all the things you can do when you're looking at the data, when you're looking at real data, right? And that's the key, is the data that's coming in, there's so much you can do, right? And it's not relying on a person, because the challenge of the shop floor, right? If you think about it, what do these guys know, right? There's so much that goes into, you think about it, it's a business plan for every part, right? And so much goes into that business plan and putting it together, okay? But then once you hand it down to the shop floor, it's like this void. It's like this black hole. The ERP no longer knows what's happening. And a whole 10-hour shift goes by and nobody knows what's happening, right? Again, we call it the black hole because it's literally that is what is going on. It's the void you don't know until the end of the shift, right? When that person clocks out of the job and types in how many parts they made. And now you get a report, maybe the next day, maybe the end of the week, whenever you go back and review it. But now you're finding out, oh, wow, we only made 6 parts. We should have made 10. Well, what happened during the day? I don't know. I can't remember what I had for dinner last night. I don't remember what I did on the shop floor, right? You know, the next day you're trying to figure these things out, and this is what makes it hard. And again, it's not the ERP's fault. It's just that's what ERPs do. They're very good at things up to the production floor. But using data-powered production is going to change that game, right? Now we're going to shine light. Now you get visibility into exactly what is happening throughout the day on the floor. So now think about all the things you can start to do now that you have that visibility, now that you know why that machine is down, or now that you know exactly how many parts have been made in real time. So now you can know, hey, this job is not going to be done tomorrow. It's actually going to be done in 3 more days. Well, now you can react. Do you do overtime, right? Do you bring in other things? Or, hey, it's okay, right? I know that customer, I can be 3 days late. Or, ooh, no, that's, you know, it's an automotive customer. I gotta, it's just-in-time inventory. I've got to get that part out. Yeah, I got to do 6 hours of overtime, right? So you can adjust in the moment to make your customers happy. But now it's also the ability to take that information and look at it after the fact to see, hey, why were we so late? Why is engineering saying this job should have been done in 2 days, but we never get it done that fast? What's really going on? And this is where the automation of data collection and the fact that we don't need operators telling us why it's down, right? Again, it's in the programs. It's there. The data is there. We capture it. We can now tell you and show you exactly what's going on every moment of the day, right? It's like a fitness watch that's on your body all day long, right? And it knows when you're excited. It knows when you're not. It knows when your pulse goes up. You don't have to worry about it, right? And then it tells you halfway through the day, hey, you've only got 2,000 steps, man. You're not at your goal. What are you doing? Get off your butt and get out there and move around. It's the same thing with machines, right? Yeah. We're monitoring and watching them all the time, right? Lights out manufacturing. What's really going on? There's nobody there. We can tell you every step of the way exactly what happened, right? So it's that visibility into that black hole that we're opening up, and that's what's going to enable this data-powered production.
Hi everybody, Amy Teal, CEO and co-founder of Shop Floor Coffee, proudly a women-owned business that's supporting the manufacturing community.
Mike Franz, CIO, co-founder of Shop Floor Coffee. Thanks everybody for tuning in to check us out. Amy, tell us a little bit about Shop Floor Coffee.
So we're here to give back to the manufacturing community through purchases of coffee. So every purchase you make, we donate a portion of those proceeds back to help workforce development initiatives.
We can't tell you how much it means to us to help support the great manufacturing community. We've been involved with it for like 20 years. And we know there's issues around finding good people, finding people that really want to be involved in the industry. And we want to start by giving back to that, giving back to the programs, getting kids involved with these awesome programs. There's robotics, there's computer software, there's so many cool things involved with the industry that people just aren't aware of. We want to help raise that awareness by giving back in a little way that we can.
And really, we came up with the idea of Shop Floor Coffee because there are 2 complaints on a shop floor. It's the coffee and the toilet paper. We can't do anything about the toilet paper, but we can help you get better tasting coffee on your shop floor while helping the community. So shopfloorcoffee.com, come visit us and support the community.
Yeah, very well said, Eddie. That leads you to any questions?
Well, you know what? In God we trust. Everybody else brings data. You know, a very wise person told me that, yes. So for sure. And also, I love how you say manufacturing is a team sport. Yeah. And I think that, I know that having the data that you're bringing to the table in real time has a mass effect, not only just from the top level, but down to the operators. So let's just jump right into it. What does this level of transparency and access to data, what direct impact does that have on the operators specifically?
It drives accountability. Is the #1 thing that it does.
That's
right?
actually a really good question, and I'll let you continue, but something that comes up all the time that we bring up all the time is Big Brother's watching me, right? And that's a great question. Scott, I know you'll answer it, but that is a concern that does get brought up in the beginning before they realize how helpful it is. So I apologize for interrupting. Great question because of that exact issue.
Yeah, you're not putting Datanomix in place to figure out who your bad people are. You already know that. You don't need data to tell you that, right? And so it's not Big Brother. It's accountability. It's all about helping people do better, and most people want to do better, right? Wouldn't you like to know that you're actually falling behind? Wouldn't you like to be able to go back to that engineer and say, hey man, you just can't make this part this fast. Here's the data to prove it. Here's all the touch time. Here's all the things I'm doing during each cycle, right? That you think I can do in 35 seconds, but let me show you. It's just not possible.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah.
It is not a sword, it's a shield then.
Exactly.
It seems like.
Can be.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Solid though.
But it gives operators, engineers, machinists, it gives everybody the data that is undisputable, right? You cannot argue the data. You can't fake it. You can't slow down the machine and the data, right? There's lots of things that can happen. But again, if you are the person who is out there who's doing bad things, then yes, this is Big Brother. Yeah. But that's not most people, right? 99% of people want to do good. They want to do better. This provides the information, the data source to do that, right? So you can see, again, in real time, what's happening. We're monitoring not only the machine, but the performance of that part, right? So are you on track? You get an A, right? You guys have seen the boards. It's just like going back to school, right? You're trying to get A's, right? Trying to get B's.
Never got those.
I know.
Either one.
They're hard to come by.
What's an A?
Yeah. But if you got to see what's going on, right? And then, yeah, you got supervisors who can come help you, right? And again, it helps get rid of that tribal knowledge that only I know how to do this thing. And it again, shines the light, driving that accountability.
Well, I know we could talk about this all day. There's probably plenty of more questions, but if I'm looking at the numbers on my board over there, we are out of time, and I know we could talk about this more. Any closing statements, Scott? I will leave you a minute, 30 seconds or two, just to kind of have a closing statement for everyone to come see your booth at IMTS and allow you this moment to share that.
Yeah, come by our booth. I don't remember the number, honestly.
That's all right. Yeah, I got it. 135636.
Yeah, it is a long number.
86750.
Yeah. But come by our booth. Come learn what data power production is all about. We've got our partners in our booth. We have a lot of things to show. It's our biggest booth ever, right? We've got a large space, plenty of room. Come on by, understand this, talk to us, right? If you're trying to use data to improve what you're doing, get the visibility that Datanomix can bring, right? Your ERPs get you a little, but to get the true visibility of what's going on, make this a team sport, right? Drive accountability on your shop floor. Use the data to run your business. More profit, more revenue, more parts, more savings. All those things are through data-driven performance.
Yeah, and to be fair, you're partnered with ERPs as well, so it's not like you're saying don't use them and saying let's work together.
Yeah, we're not trying to replace ERPs. Don't get me wrong there, right? It is absolutely not, but we're trying to fill that void, right? Remove that black hole. When the job goes to the floor, you don't know what's happening, right? We can shine visibility into all of that and then imagine, right, all the great things that you can do for your business.
Exactly right. Although I am curious where a black hole would take me. Never mind. That's a different topic for a different day. We'll do that on the next episode of Sci-Fi Gun Show. Anyway, that's not a thing. Thank you all for watching, listening. The booth one more time is 135636. The MTDCNC team will be there on Wednesday from 3 to 5. We look forward to seeing you, but stop by anytime during IMTS. And thank you for watching, man. We appreciate you.